All right, guys. So my name is Tanya. I'm one of the staff members at the Fab Lab, and I got everyone's questions, so I made this part of this PowerPoint so that hopefully I can address all of your general questions about the Fab Lab. So one of the main things about our Fab Lab is that we are a community Fab Lab. So in other terms, we're basically open for anyone to come in and work at the lab. The space has a wide variety of different types of machines to use, as well as materials. And like I said, we are open for every single person to come in. So it doesn't matter if you're associated with the university or even other colleges nearby, you can just walk in. And that's one of the, at least in my beliefs, one of the benefits of our lab is that we're running it as a community lab, so we're able to teach a lot of different people technologies that they don't always have access to. So at the Fab Lab, we have this general statement of fabulosity, and I'm not going to read it word for word, but basically it's summarizing that anyone is welcome in the lab, and that you should treat every single person with respect, as well as, if someone needs help or is struggling, help them out if you can. Everyone is at the same overall value, and we want to be an open, loving, caring community. So we just want to encourage people to be themselves in the lab, and we expect the community that walks in there to have the same sort of respect and care about everyone else in the lab as well. So this top picture is of our space. We're on the U of I campus. If anyone's familiar with the campus, we're south of the ACES library, which is the octagon-shaped library on the south side of campus. And we have lots of different tools, like I mentioned. So we have computers in our lab, so anyone can walk in there with nothing and you can use our computers. We have open source software on all of our computers, so you can come into the lab, work on it, and actually go home if you didn't finish, work on it at home, because you can get the software for free at home. We do have some softwares that are requiring a license, but for the most part, we try to push for using open source software. So some of the tools that we have at the lab consists of laser engraving and cutting. So we have a large laser machine that lets you etch on wood, acrylic, glassware. It doesn't cut metal or cut glass, but it lets you do a lot of etching. And you'll see some examples of work that you can do with etching in the future. We also have an Textiles and Fabrics section. So Textiles are incorporating electronic components into fabrics, so putting lights on a dress or on a shirt or even on patches. A few people have made some cool other projects at the lab, such as a pillow that has a keyboard on it, and you can touch the pillow and it acts as a keyboard. We also have our 3D printing and scanning section. So 3D printing, you can come in with a file that you've already made, or you can walk into the lab and we can show you how to use a program called Tinkercad, which is free online, and show you how to create your own 3D models, and then you can print it in the lab. And we have a few different types of machines. The ones that you see here are called Up Minis, so they're for smaller 3D prints. And then we also have a larger 3D printer, it's called the Taz, and it can print larger size files. We also have a general multi-purpose room, so if you and a bunch of people want to meet and plan something, we have a room open for you to do so. And we have an electronics room, so if you're into electronics and you want to solder or create a circuit board, we have that capability as well. And there are some people that come in to work on robotics. We've had a lot of engineers come in and actually work on making their own unmanned vehicles, the little drones. So that's pretty common in the lab, getting a lot of people from the engineering campus to come in. And some of the other things that you can see, we have paper crafts, so we actually have a vinyl cutter where you can cut a specific design out of paper or vinyl, and you can make cool things like this LED pop-up card. So it's got a little dragon, and when you put your finger on one of the tapes, the dragon's eye lights up. So the lab would be nothing without our people. So we have a lot of people that work in the lab. Here are a bunch of pictures of people that are currently and are previous volunteers or staff members at the lab. And everyone here is vital to the lab. Without the staff members, we won't have people to train people to use the machines. We like to teach you how to use the machine, so you're kind of come in with a project idea. We teach you how to use the machine, and then you're kind of off on your own in the sense that you try it out, and then if you need our help, we're there for you to help out. Here are some examples of projects of people working in the lab. We have, like I said, we have a whole electronics area, so if you're into programming and Arduinos, we have those at the lab as well. And so overall, the Fab Lab Network, we are a part of the MIT network. However, every lab runs on its own sort of ideas. So our Fab Lab is running on the idea that it's a community-based. However, if you go into Chicago, there's a Fab Lab up there, and it's attached with the Museum of Science and Industry. And that one is not open to the public, but you can still go in there, see the space, and they let you like cut out keychains and things like that. So even though our lab is different, we all run on a unified structure of having the same sorts of machines and the same sort of open software. So you will see similar laser cutters as well as embroidery machines and 3D printers in other Fab Labs. They just run however they would like to run their own Fab Lab. So here is our Fab Lab, and this is a map of where the other Fab Labs are. There are numbers on some of these because Europe has tons of Fab Labs all over the countries in Europe. But as a little closer zoom in as a reference, this is where our lab is. So if you're familiar with the streets, this is Pennsylvania Avenue, this is Kirby/Florida Avenue, and then you can see right up there is where the library is. So we are right south of the library as a better orientation on campus where we are. So we actually opened in October of 2009, which seems a long time ago, and I guess it kind of is, but it was a rough start. We mostly ran on volunteer basis. None of the staffers were paid. We hit a few rough spots, but then we started getting grant funding because we're paired with the university, so we could actually get things going a little bit better. And since then, we've basically been running on grants. So our staff members are paid through these grants, and it allows for more people to come in and us to have more staff members. A little fun fact about our building, it's one of the oldest buildings on campus. It actually used to be a horse stable. So it's a very interestingly shaped building. If you get a chance to come in, you can kind of see how it kind of resembles a horse stable. But our lab, like I mentioned, is open for everyone. We want everyone to be able to come in and learn the different materials and different machines that we have there, and we're open to all age groups. We have little kids coming in all the time. We have camps over the summer that are targeted towards younger kids. We're actually trying to expand to even the kindergarten age next summer, hoping to get some camps for very young kids to start learning these different machines and getting computer skills right off the bat. So we are trying to reach as many people as possible. And one of the ways we do that is by actually extending to community partners. So we work a lot with the Urbana Free Library and the Champaign Public Library. We do different demos there, and we help them kind of get their own space going. So if you go to the Urbana Library and Teen They have a teen time where they have a 3D printer set up and a few of our vinyl cutters so that teens can come in and instead of just after school going home watching TV, they have a place to go to learn these new machines and use some of their free time in a semi-productive way. So we do like pairing with our communities, and we've also had a road show that goes all the way down to Peoria, which we've been working really hard getting them having their own space, and we had a whole Southern Illinois trip a few summers ago teaching some schools in Southern Illinois how to use these machines. So one of the things that we like to showcase is our youth engagement, mostly because getting kids to understand how to use these machines and working together. We do a lot of team building activities when we have these camps. We recently started doing this thing where once they've learned all the machines, they have to make a gift for someone else in their camp to try and connect with students that they might not actually know, or people from other areas, because we do have people that drive down from other areas to take our summer camps during the summer. One of the things that we also have at the Fab Lab, like I mentioned, is we have materials there for you. So some of the main materials that people end up using is wood for the laser cutter. With the laser cutter, you can make a lot of different things, from boxes to signs, and we have people constantly coming in to use the laser cutter. We have acrylic as well, so if you want to cut this acrylic instead of wood, that's also available. You can see up here, this is our sticker paper for cutting vinyl stickers, like you kind of see on cars a lot. And we've got a lot of different materials, and we sell them all at base price. So we're not making any money when you come in and buy the materials from us. We're just selling them to you at the cost that we bought them. And that makes cost for you to be relatively low. The only extra cost is like the actual machine usage. So our laser is $1 for 5 minutes, which actually is very low priced, and then we just have area usage fees. So if you want to come in and sew a whole dress, spend the whole open hours at that time sewing, it's still $1 if you're using the sewing machines. So we try to keep the usage fees down and encourage people to come in. We also have been working on continuing education, so we do have a lot of people that are either in the university or have graduated from the university, and even adults coming in that just want to learn these new technologies, especially the 3D printers. A lot of people come in wanting to learn how to use those because they're the up and coming technology to replace a lot of different manufacturing needs. We also have a whole course on Minecraft, which is getting a bunch of kids together to build different buildings and work together as a group to build a whole city. And then students that are in that can actually 3D print what they build in Minecraft. So they learn 3D printing and Minecraft at the same time, and it's really helpful for these kids, and that camp over the summer is always packed and fills up right away. We also do have people coming in for art pieces and entrepreneurship, so we do have a lot of people from the art department come into the lab with their art projects and work on them here. This over here, this car, was actually built by one of our volunteers. His name is Steve Holt. He comes in and he actually sells these cars because he loves old cars. So he created the design for this, and he actually sells these on a website. A few other examples of people that have come into the lab and either have worked for us and have had some success stories. This is Judy. She created this book called Monet and the Water Lily Friends. So she put it on Kickstarter, and she raised enough money for it, and she now sells the book, and she comes into the lab a lot to make these little stuffed animals that go with the book. And she's an awesome community member and staff member at the lab. She has, she's not in as often anymore, but she is very helpful, and she has actually personally helped me a lot with learning Photoshop and making images better for cutting and the laser. One of our other staff members, Jess, she is very, very talented with the e-textiles. All of her work is focused around creating patches and dresses and things with electronic components. So this is one of the examples of something that she's made. She has this car, and you can see these stitch marks actually lead up to the lights of this car. So if you press this button, the car's lights turn on. And here is, on the side over there, is a bunch of her work that she sells on Etsy, and she's had a lot of success selling her art that she's made on Etsy. We also do a lot of research at the lab. Like I said, we do have a lot of people coming in from engineering. Recently, we've had a lot of people coming in through the biology department, and I'm one of those people that has been going in there. I actually study ticks in the entomology department, and I went into the Fab Lab to create lab collecting supplies for my research because they don't sell it anywhere. So I had to make it myself, and they actually helped me get through the project and create everything I needed to create. And we've done some outreach as well with the entomology department, creating bee boxes for people to put in their backyard. And like I said, we do also have a lot of engineers coming in for their drone work as well as other electronic component work. We also had this Dustuino come in. So basically what this project consisted of was using an Arduino to we programmed the Arduino, and someone created a sensor to tell how much dust is in the lab. So it could tell you when you needed to clean. You could use that potentially in your house, be like, okay, this Dustuino is telling me my house is dirty, I should probably clean it now. So it was a fun project that someone created in our lab. And we do have our own website, so if you have extra questions, especially our hours switch. Right now it's going to switch to the winter hours soon, but for the most part we're open Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. Next semester we're actually going to be open on Wednesday and only close on Saturday. And our hours are usually 1 to 9 or 2 to 9. It varies depending on the day. But if you want to see about starting a Fab Lab, or you're curious about how one gets started, we do have a link on our website. It says right over here where what you would need to start a lab. So that's it for answering the questions that you gave me and general info about the lab. So if you guys have any other questions, I'll do my best to answer them.
What kind of collaboration opportunities do you have? Do you have certain people coming in from researchers or other areas? What kind of collaboration opportunities are there? Let's say I have a prototype in mind, but I'm not engineeringly minded, but I'm really good with my hands and all. Would you be matching me up with someone I can work with?
We can do that. We do have an option of actually meeting with someone that specializes in a certain area one-on-one. We have that on our website as well, of who you would contact for that. But you could match up with someone in the lab, but you also could, we've had some people that have had project ideas and just have left flyers saying like, please, I have this project idea, like contact me if you would like to collaborate on it. And that's pretty common in the lab as well. Yeah.
A little bit about your funding. The state of Illinois obviously is in dire straits. Has that affected your Fab Lab at all, or
It
gets any state funding?
it is a little bit, but because we've been working so much with the community members, and we work closely with the university. So a lot of times we've actually paired up with other big grants through the university, so that we actually act as the outreach portion of that grant. And then, like I said, we've actually applied for our own funding, trying to work with like the library and smaller age groups as well. Yeah.
Like, what were some of the obstacles when Fab Lab was starting to get up and running?
Mostly it had to do with trying to actually start getting our funding, as well as getting, because we were running through volunteer power, we only had so many people that could come and help out, and they had to learn all of the different tools. So that was a little bit hard, as well as kind of just getting the name out. Like, I had heard of, when I was at the undergrad at U of I had like heard of it, but I didn't really know what it was or what I could do in the lab. So it kind of just got dusted off. But now so many people have been coming into the lab and spreading the word, or have gone to some of the libraries and heard about us, that they've been coming into the lab more, and now we have a lot more people flooding in. So, yeah.
Do you do any tours?
Yes, you can.
Like high schools or junior high?
Yes, we frequently have tours come in. If you have a big group, you can email us and we'll do like a tour when the lab is not open to the public, but you're also welcome to come in when it's open, and we give tours while the lab is actually open. Yeah.
So, because it's a collaborative process, how do you handle the intellectual property and such as copyright, trademarks, and patents?
I mean, for the most part, we try and stick with, like, if something's copyrighted, to follow it, but we do really work closely with Creative Commons and kind of push towards using open source software. So we try to get people to be using things like that, so we're not dealing with any copyright sort of, or legal issues, exactly, yeah. Yeah.
What's your business model?
I mean, we're not really running as a business. The closest thing to a business model is everyone is trying to be open to everyone coming into the lab. We sell everything that we have at base price. We just want people to come in and learn the different equipment and get to the point where they're comfortable coming in, and without any help, they can just walk in, use what they want, and help someone out if they need to, and they can work on their projects on their own.
So is there like a membership fee?
No, there's no membership fee. You just walk in, usually people walk in, say that they're new. We have them sign in so that they can read sort of liability issues with machines, making sure that you're the right age to use them. And we give them a tour and we ask them what they're interested in doing at the lab. So we try to keep it very open to the public, and like I said, we want everyone to be able to come in, so a membership fee might actually discourage people from coming in, especially people with little kids coming in all the time. That would start getting to be a financial burden, so. Yeah.
You said that you mentioned that a lot of the funding comes from grants, so are you guys doing research in return for the grants?
We act as a outreach component for a lot of the grants. So usually the university has larger projects, and they say, okay, we're gonna take some of our project and we're going to incorporate the Fab Lab and let the community learn from it. Or we have a grant that's saying, okay, we're gonna use this technology and we're going to reach out to community members so that they can learn it too, and that's what we've done with the library. So some of the grants have revolved completely around the library and opening a teen space so that after school kids have somewhere to go and they actually get to learn the different equipment that we have. So that's usually what our grants are surrounded by. Yeah.
Mine's kind of a two-part question. what kind of red tape did you have to cut through to get started? And have you guys ever considered like a partnership with CoLab?
As far as red tape, I'm not exactly sure what sort of red tape we really needed to go through. I wasn't a part of the original starting of the Fab Lab, but as far as partnering with CoLab, usually we have people reach out to us as wanting to partner with us because we have a lot of partnerships already, and usually that's one of the main connections that we make. Sometimes we do reach out, but I'm not aware of any sort of connection with CoLab right now. We kind of like have expanded within the building itself. So the building has 4 main parts. So like when you walk in, there's like a front room, and then we have our small electronics room, and our back room has a laser now, and then there's even a far west room that we've kind of started merging into because we've been working a lot with the architecture department, and that building is their building. So basically it's kind of an exchange of spaces. So now architecture students have easy access into the Fab Lab to use our equipment when they need to, and then we have access to that, to all the other rooms that were originally their rooms in the first place. So we've been expanding that way. The laser room is one of the newer components that I got to witness going back into. We used to have the laser, the sewing machines, the 3D printers, all like kind of grouped into one small section in the front room. And now that we have that back room, we have a lot more room for the sewing machines. We have like a whole sewing area, as well as the 3D printing area is a lot clearer, and the laser, we now have 2 lasers in the back that people get to use. So we've kind of been expanding within the building, but I don't believe we would be expanding out of the building. We might, but that's just kind of a see how it goes situation.
Any other questions? How many people were in the startup process? Like you said, there was like so many people in the last, but there's like.
So I want to say that there were around I know Jeff, Lisa, and which are 2 people you'll probably see in the lab, as well as maybe 6 or 7 other people. I don't know the exact number, but it was a really small number of people starting it up, and then we slowly started expanding more and more, and now we have a lot of staff members, and we are constantly cycling through different people coming in and out, but we also still have lots of volunteers, and volunteers are usually the people that end up becoming staff members later on. I was one of those people. I started as a volunteer, and then over the summer they needed help for the camps, and I got hired as an actual staff member after working the camps. But we are also actually currently hiring more people, so we're really expanding as far as staff members from the very beginning. We only have, I think, 1 or 2 of the original, very, very, very start staff members. His name is Andrew, and he is an amazing worker and has made some really, really cool projects in the lab.
All right, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.